Golden Arrows coach Mabuti Khenyeza has disclosed the advantages of local coaches have over the European counterparts in the PSL. Khenyeza is mentoring Abafana Bestende as sole head coach after his former colleague, Coach Vusmuzi Vilagazi, whom he was the co-coach with, left the club last month. He believes local coaches should be doing better than the European tacticians who know less about SA players. According to the former Kaizer Chiefs forward, the local coaches are privileged to know the backgrounds, families, cultures, and good and bad times of local players. With these, Khenyeza says SA-born coaches have everything to get the best out of players. All in all, I've been playing football for a very long time. I played more than 15 years at the highest level, and I understand everything, says Khenyeza. I understand not only playing, but also the backgrounds of the players, where they come from, the culture, because those things are important when you're dealing with the players. And then their upbringing is not something new. If a coach from Europe can do it here, we as local coaches have a big advantage, because sometimes you get a coach, you get to coach a player that you knew when they were still 10 years old. When you know their families, when you know their ups and downs, when you know where they're coming from, you know where they're coming from. That's why I'm saying the seat can be new, but it's not new to me because I've been involved in this for a very long time. So this brings me to what I want to speak about today in this segment, where we're speaking about our local coaches. Yes, he's saying that there's advantages and everybody knows everything and we are corner and all of that stuff. But again, outside of Sundowns, outside of I guess Patrice done it, outside of a handful of local coaches, outside of Gavin, a lot of the local coaches struggle in the league. And a lot of the European coaches, look at Jose Rivero, arrived, no preseason, no signings, no nothing, dropped in 1-2 trophies, you know. You can look back at Abo Zimbabwe, all of the Chiefs coaches that have come in, Abo Vemezovic and all those guys, Abo Papic, they tend to do well and better than our guys. But our guys say that they have these advantages. So I want to speak about that, Guti. What exactly is holding our local coaches back, and what exactly makes European coaches, quote unquote, better at managing these things? Let me start with Rivo. Rivo, Mabuti Khenyeza is telling us that local coaches have all of the advantages. Mara, you don't see it.
We don't see it because I think the style of football we play, remember, it goes back to him. Who coached him? Was he coached by a local coach? Mabuti Khenyeza. Let's start there. And then we go to the disrespect and the lack of we don't have trust in our local coaches. It's been a while. I think what he's saying is partly true, but it's not entirely true. But if you have a conversation for I'm gonna speak about parents for an example, because that's the team that I. So with Pirates, there's a lot of players. If you speak to them and you kind of try to speak to them and find out exactly where their head is at and whatever, it's easy for them when they look at Mduduzi. They see like a father figure. So he's there as this person who's gonna come to you and speak isiZulu and be like Ubaba. We understand. Where else the coach is from wherever, you have to respect him. It's that thing you would see when coaches come from outside, you kind of have to impress him. To say, okay, I need to pull up my socks, I need to put my A game because this person doesn't know me. But if it's a local coach, you just relax and say, he's been watching me most. Why do I have to, that attitude you're gonna have that type of attitude even as the fans. To be honest with you, even as the fans, we don't give our local coaches fair chance. Galatina futi yiti the fans. We start look at Ntegi. What are you guys doing to him? It's like, amanza bandayo nini na shisa nini, you understand? Look at Zwane, he went through the same thing. Look at Rulani at Pirates. Rulani went the same thing while he was still at Pirates. So it's just it's from there at the top. Even the owners and everything, we just don't have the trust in our in our local coaches.
But are we hiding behind the fans? Because Jose Rivero arrived here, but he plama. He did his job, he won his 2 trophies. Manje, lababanye, that we're saying we want to give them a chance. Jose Rivero got one, he got 1 season. You know, and he did the job, for example. I'm going to use him as an example, right?
As an example, yeah.
Yeah, whereas you look at Atazwani, he got a season, didn't really take us anywhere. Unseki, we have yet to see, but you could argue that he's going through similar to what Rivero has gone through. Do we, because we are familiar to them, want to give them this time, whereas these other guys, it's job. I have to get there. I have to win the trophies. Gucci, bang busy plama, good bafuneng sign, but I have to know how to do the job. Doesn't that play into it?
It does play into it. And also, coach, there's coaches that are going to tell you, Gutimina, this is my job. If there's one thing about Rivero knows what he came to do at Orlando Pirates. His emotional intelligence, his ability to answer the questions sometimes. And Rivero is just a different type of breed. And I think if there's one thing about Dr. Ivan Khoza, if there's one thing you can give to him is getting the right coaches. Look at Micho as well. Micho was exactly like him, almost the same like him. We named him, they named him whatever and everything. But when it comes to our local, our local, it's not make sure.
So
it's not make sure.
I want to speak on something that he said. So he said that he knows their families, he knows all the stuff, the struggle, what. How much does that affect the decisions that our local coaches make in your eyes? Because it feels as though those European coaches, their advantage is that I don't know your family. I don't know where you come from. I don't know anything about that. When I look at my team, I look at them as who is the best player for what I need them to do, and I play them. Whereas abanye yazi ngikhumbula umamkhize lapha ekhaya ukuthi uthini yazi ugogo yazi ungitshelile ukuthi umfana kumele adlale. Maybe do those things play into this, and can it be a weakness?
It is a weakness because, for an example, if you're gonna know the situation yasekhaya, there's a very heartbreaking story of this guy, Goodman Musele. Goodman Musele was broken inside, but when he went into the pitch, the guy was something else. So Rivero came in. The guy was marvelous on the pitch. So Rivero came in and whatever. He had a situation at home, but because Jose does not know him, he played him. He said, listen, you came here to play, you came here to do your job, and he would play him. Whenever he got the chance to play, the guy would perform. But if it was somebody from local who understand what the guy was going through, I don't think the guy would have gotten a chance to actually play. They would have just said, no, you have issues, we're gonna book you therapy and whatnot, you're not gonna play now. You understand? We have that thing as sympathy with us. We have that thing as sympathy, and it's natural. But with those guys, when you have to work, you have to work. They don't have that thing. Lona, sympathy. Look at this guy, our goalkeeper, Mponchani. The day you guys scored that, who's that guy? Marto Mang, Okorleng that goal.
Yes. Halfway, I remember it.
We didn't know that the guy, his son drowned in a swimming pool when he played that match. You understand? So, but if it was a local coach, then there was gonna be that thing. We know what he's going through. He can't go into the game and whatnot. So it has a disadvantage and it has an advantage. Yeah.
Okay. Let me bring it to Theo. Theo, what do you say about these words, Khenyeza? Ngoba he's saying that local coaches have advantages and all of that stuff. But must pay record. You're only a good local coach, Magu Sundowns. You're only a good local coach, Magu Supersport or Repeat Vest or a Santos. It's a handful and Nabo by 2. What do you think about what he said about these advantages?
As he reminded me of Bruce last week. When things are going well, he talks nice. When things is better, he blames the PSL. So ukuluma mnandi 3 games down the line. You're no, this football, what, is Kumela hambe. But I think the big difference, when it comes to overseas coaches and our coaches, guys, let's not lie, man. EPSL has been dominated by overseas coaches. They've came in, some of them they've produced about Dr. Kumalo, Menabo Pule, we can count a lot of star players that they've been produced by those coaches, brought the best out of them, made them versatile. You talk about Duvilagas, the short guy, that guy at Pirates was a machine, guys. He could play in any position. If you say to me that it was not a coach that struck that, then I am as. But another thing that we need to also realize and understand about football, guys, football is a profession, guys. It's a profession more than anything. So you need to bring someone who's professional as well. Not because someone who has experience. Yes, you have played. Yes, you have done things in the field. You understand. When I was listening to him on the radio, he said something very important. They even called Aboye Lutulunyane. I think they were in they were in Botswana, bafunda about something because they are studying lentils of coach. I don't know. They need to get class A, I think, or something. So there's something I should you could say. There's a lot of things that we don't know about football. There's a lot of things that we thought we knew. Because we've played soccer, we have been around coaches that are good. Imagine, man, having a guy like Stuart Baxter, who is your mentor. So there are certain things that you learn from them. But here you're coming up and saying there's a lot that we still have to learn. There's a lot that, we're still not aware of when it comes to football and player management, and how to manage your technical team. So for me, I understand Umaputi, guys. He's coaching, he's in ROC, he's doing well so far. They just fired the coach, they brought him in. So asimnike isikhathi naye simbone ukuthi can he handle the heat after some time. And also something that is very crucial when it comes to Makunyong coach Pitso, guys. Pitso, there's a difference between a good coach, a best coach, and a coach. Pitso was one of our coaches at some time.
Was a
Super
manager.
Sport. We said he's a coach. Yeah, he was a manager. Yes, I love that word. And then when you brought him to Sundowns, we saw his qualities, we saw his skill as a coach, we saw the way he managed his team, we saw the way he went beyond just telling players with score, passer, for him to even take, I'll always make this statement, for him to bring Upesita to your first team and take him back, it showed you, Gucci, this guy is not just there to bring players and say, I've brought Banban. No, he wants players to do well. That's why when he took him back, and then when he brought him back, he was a monster. That's why I'm saying he was a manager at that point. He was the best coach. That's why he went to Ahly, and he was just phenomenal. So for me, Mabuti is far-fetching, guys. Mabuti is saying what he's saying because he's doing well. And I'm not saying I don't want South African coaches to succeed. I do, but they need to do a lot. They need to learn a lot, and they need to expose themselves to a lot of things. So I don't want to lie to you. He's far-fetching. He has good comments. I understand and I love that. But guys, football is a profession nonetheless. If you come in as a coach, we don't just need you to be there just a coach. Manage the players as well.
How much of this as well is, watazwani besikhalangan watazwani. Besikhalangan favoritism, manish? Besikhalangan favoritism. So when we speak about them, how much does, knowing so much about players and knowing about background and knowing all of that stuff, can it be a weakness, Yoguti? Maybe the decisions you're making are made off of knowing that, and it's not necessarily a bad thing. Whereas European coach, uyafika, ubona abantu, akabazi ukuthi ubuya phi, ukhule phi, ugogo wakho akandaba, he comes here to do a job. How much of that does that play into this? Because it's the same as Maskulma ngabo. As South Africans, when we speak about our coaching, we say, I'm a coach, they need time, they need to do this because siyamazi atazwana. But then Makfigu Rivero, plama, what? How much does that play into the thing and the decision making?
But it also shows we will never be our management staffs, That's why I think, you go to Chiefs, you go to Pirates, you go to Sundowns. Guys, those management people have done a lot for South African football. We can say whatever you want to say, for Khoza to go there and fetch that guy, handpick him. When I say handpick, there were many coaches who could have chosen. He went and picked that guy, brought him to South Africa. First season, this guy win 2 trophies. and you go to Chiefs, guys. For me, my personal opinion, I know, as fans, for me personally, we didn't give Atazwane a chance, guys. I don't want to lie to you. We didn't give him enough chance. You look at, I always emphasize what Pitso said about Atazwane, man. Pitso said this guy needs time. This guy has a lot that he can offer South African football. But then, because it's in our fans, we just want results. We don't care about what the guy is doing. You look at Njabulo Plom. You look at Aboba and Lomfana Lomutelo, Ungezane. Like, there are many players that guy was mentoring multi-choice disc. When he brought them here, we saw these guys can compete in Abotembazwane. These guys can compete, with Abon player we are pressure. But for me personally, I think I'm a South African player, I'm coaches, as much as they can be lenient, also they need to be aggressive at certain part. That's one, I think, what became, in a downfall for him. I think he was just, he couldn't handle the pressure, firstly. Second season, you saw, this guy now is under pressure. He was not able to take the pressure well in. Whereas you find a guy like Umidindop, that guy, will stick to his plan. Season is your pela. Nangabi team we mix relegation. You hamba and strategy sake. It's not gonna change. So I think we need something like that when it comes to our coaches. If we can have
are we not allowing these guys to hide behind the fans? And I like that we have Uchozi Rivero as an example. Now Uchozi Rivero, no preseason,
No.
they drop in. Bambiza amaplama bangamfuni singamazi aziwinela amatrophy wakhe too. Now all of a sudden Pirates fans love him, sonke were referencing him. Mara masibheka abo Ata, for example, I'm going to use Ata as an example. Ata came in, finished number 5. Mara sikhalela isikhathi. Aren't these things earned? We don't say the same about the European guys. Bangena bona, they do the good thing. Ama-fans ayakhuluma, uthi ama-fans ayakhalaza, uthi ama-fans ayenzani. Abalanda, they've come for a job.
I can make an example now. I love the guy, man, by the way. I don't know. I know he plays stupid football, but I love his mentality. Midindo, we gave him a chance at Chiefs last season. I promise you, Chiefs were going to compete for the league. But I know others are going to think I'm crazy. I will tell you why I think so. This guy, what he's good at. That's why I'm referencing him. No Zwane, no Nalowe Pirates, Le Plamba, Le Pirates, Le Luina, Ama Trophy under carpet. There's something I enjoy this guy. When you have a winning mentality, you build a team around your winning structure. Guti man keep banbani, fuck banbani, I'm gonna get a goal. No maganjan. No mangamala pepalin is gonna try and make something. I remember one time listening to Drogba talking about Mourinho. I think they were playing against the United final. He said Mourinho told him, Guti, stay on the last pole, don't move. Every time when Baba Nepola on the right flag, stay on the last pole. Don't come in the middle or even the near. You're going to score a goal. He did that for I think the most part. And then second half, they did a cross. And he was just standing there. He just headed the ball. And it's like, how did you know? Mourinho said, no, because I know your strength and I know your weaknesses. Where now, if you have to head the ball from a certain distance, goodbye challenge. So that's why I'm saying when you come to South African football or South African coaches, you find that they just want to manage games, but they don't want to manage players. They don't want to manage the quality that they get from a certain player. So for me, Uzwani downfall, when he got to Chiefs, he was told, no man, do whatever you want. We back you. We are here for you. And Uzwane was like, okay, let me experiment. But not knowing what he's experimenting on his own downfall. Because after his experiments, all of a sudden they turned on him. They put Unteki. And you see Unteki now is a struggle, guys. Let's be honest. Unteki is a struggle for a coach that has been there for the reason that he was there for 3 seasons. Unteki. He should have been doing better by now. 3 seasons you are there in the team, you should be doing better. But when it comes to Iplamba got in there, he got a team that was solid, guys. We need to be honest. Parity was already put together. He just got in, took few players, Wafagama spicing and then boom, things were happening for him. Uzwane had to start the team from scratch. Uzwane, even though Pirates Sundowns, guys, he got a team as a Pele. We need to be honest.
Was 6 years at Chiefs. He's been 6 years at Chiefs as an assistant coach. Are we making excuses for
That's
them?
the problem. I'm not making excuses, but okay. Remember Pitso Fiak Sundowns, guys. Remember Pitso at Sundowns. It took him time. South African coaches need time. We need to admit that. I'm a foreign coaches when they get to a team, they already have a plan.
Pitso and Zwane were two different things, man.
But Dangiti, if he was given time, we don't know what could have panned out. If you gave him enough time, he would have surprised us.
Yabona mina ngithanda la ngizolanda umuntu eSerbia. He's gonna come here and just one season, no time, no nothing. Kumo, what do you say about this topic? Local coaches. Khenyeza has spoken about local coaches having advantages, but up to this point, it doesn't seem like the advantages pan out for them if they're not at certain teams.
He's right. The advantage that local coaches have is because they can speak Ngezana can't even say philosophy. So get language fella. That's the advantage that these guys have. No. Listen, like you can be a local coach,
Hello, yeah.
Local coach, Can I
don't know what's happening. Can you hear me?
Wait, let me turn off.
Are you with me, Kumo? Okay, I'll come back, Kumo. I'm going to come back to you. Let me bring you to Velile. Velile, how are you, my brother?
I'm back. Can you hear me now?
Are you back? What's happening? Okay, Velile, I'm going to come to you. Kumo, yeah, you can carry on. You just cut there for a little bit.
Yeah, someone tried to call me. So, yeah, as I was saying, like local coach, but do you also have the qualifications? Do you have CAV ratings or UEFA ratings? Because those things they matter. Because like let's say you take a team like Usutu, whatever, for example, I think like there's a rule, like I stand to be corrected. Like you can't coach that team if you don't have certain qualifications. And the other thing, disadvantage local coaches, they know the culture, they're part of the system, they've played the same football with the local guys. Now they've retired, under mentorship of a local coach, so they develop their habits, so everything becomes complacent. So when you get someone from overseas who has different views and fresh ideas, that is why normally they seem like they're doing great, because no one knows how they play. And in advantage because it's a different set of style from them. So advantage, it can, Maralwena as a local coach, like you need to educate yourself, like you need to adopt other forms of playing. Not everyone should anticipate and know, we're going to defend this way, we're going to play against you this way, and this is what you're going to do. Like, prefer some form of surprise. So that is why Bomokwena, they always follow Pep Guardiola. You make fun of him, but his style of play is different compared to the style of play at PSL, because why Oliver Manchester City, you can call him a fanboy, Mara. It's what we need, something different. And he's a local player. If you can adopt the things that he does, like by studying the football, by getting the qualifications, then advantage, it can more than just language.
But then is it also not just about qualifications? For me, part of the problem, or not part of the problem, what can be a weakness is you come into this team, you know the players, you know their backgrounds, you know all this stuff. Can that get in the way of decision making? Whereas sometimes if I don't know you, I don't, not necessarily I don't care, but I haven't gone through your experiences, I haven't done all that stuff. I'm coming in to do a job, I look at you as you are, I put you in as you are. Do those things play into it?
Yeah, that's emotional baggage, I guess. It does, because sometimes when you see a player, he's not performing and you bench him, but because of your relationship that you have with this player, maybe you are former teammates or you grew up together or you have some form of relationship, you can't be professional because of you are scared, if I be professional and I bench you or I sell you, then our relationship is going to be strained. So when someone doesn't have any emotional ties to the team, they do perform better. Hence why in business, but never employ your siblings or family or friends, because it never ends well. I think it's the same concept that we should also apply here at home in the PSL league.
Okay. Velile, how are you, my brother?
Ngiyaphila kunjani mfowethu?
Right. Nangu ukhulumile
Mm.
umabhuti athi no, local coaches have an advantage because they understand things. Kodwa, when you look at the
Yeah.
records, if your name is not Gavin Hunt, if you haven't been coaching in Sundowns, local coaches seem to struggle.
Asiqale lapha emuva mntakababa. Ukuthi why niphatheka kabi abantu babenza umsebenzi wabo. If the city of Cape Town is doing their job properly to allocate value according to the way it booked. Wait.
Sindlulile
Yabo?
lapho.
Kahle bafu.
Very quickly.
Yeah, that's why ngifuna ukudlula quickly. Abantu abenza umsebenzi wabo banenkinga nabo because they've allocated space for nina decide ukuluncha amakhapu manje nicaba uzobhukha manje thina sibhukhile sifuna ukwenza ifestival nini ayisebenzi kanjalo. Bukha in time istadium esakho mnta kusebenza kanjalo nje. Asina stadium, istadium is owned by municipality and basigana ngendlela ngisabanika thina nge-2010 sabanika baqeda ukuzakha.
That's why it's
So we reap what we sow. Ngithi asicabangeli phambili sicabangela la eduze njalo. So kulungile. Yeah.
Okay, tshela-ke ngale ndaba kamabhuti.
Yabona umabhuti ngasho ngithi uqinisile akaqinisanga ne. Because mawuthi uyayibheka, that's why if you look at most yabo abaningi the local coaches abayindawo. Because instead of you focusing, because you see, the sooner they realize these guys, if you are coaching a PSL team, you are coaching a professional team. Those guys they came to work. They work, and the sooner we stop taking our soccer players like Abafana, like we even call them Abafana. Those guys are old. The sooner we realize they're here to work and treat them like adults who are here to work, and then and also with local coaches, besides you understand player emotional it's about result. You must know your work because if let's say I got grand emotional, what are you going to do? Was I close years out up until maybe you refer that player to a psychologist to do that. But when in all, but I could understand because they will get away with this type of comments because if you look at it in South Africa and Lamalang, the standard of journalism is so poor because they don't ask those questions about press conference. If you go back to the issue of plumber. Plumber idumile yaze yafika nasendlebeni zikacoach wePirate kuthiwa hey plumber ukuthi manje uthina abantu wathi uyiplumber into zamaplumber namagama ezethu amasupporter. You as a professional journalist you shouldn't ask a coach those things are for us anyway since entertainer ngazo siyakwazi ukuthi hey ngale once ngathi bamthengisela umuntu weOmo ngathi lugila wenza iOmo nani it's for us as supporters not for professional journalists. The sooner that our journalists start asking real core questions, I think Omapudi wouldn't have got away with just such comment easily. He needed to elaborate on it. What does he mean? Because most local coaches are now with this mentality. Look at all of them. Owen Takama, Cabo Zondo, then Mandisela. They don't even want to update themselves with the new trends and tactics of football. So, it's not. I'm not supporting it fully.
I wanna stand on that point. Is it an easy answer to just say, "Guti, Tinama fans were like this, were like that, were like that"? Whereas, as much noise as I can make on TikTok, they shouldn't be listening to me. I wonder if I heard in wherever Guti, I know nothing about running a team. So is it an easy answer to just say I'm fans? Because then we need to ask them, Guti, Rivero Bambiza Maplama. He won. Whether he won by little Oyens and he did his job and won with the noise. Manjitina, we want to hide behind these guys and say, hi, they need time, Tinama fans, Is it an easy answer to just say Manama fans?
No, it's not that easy when I'm Tagababa, young John. Because but remember also we need to separate it between our fans and the guys who are professional. Tina Sama fans, we've got our own thinking methodology with how to watch soccer and the footy. Tina's fans, we are allowed even to put that sort of entertainment. We can call each other names and do all sort of things. We are fans, young John. And you go to like kind of thing. Sigcina singalwanga futhi nokula siyahleka nakhona la ukhutshwa ngakhuluma thina athi ungezana akazi we will laugh at each other we kube mnandi sihleke but you cannot take that and put it like in a professional platform because there if you're a journalist, you are representing us. You need to ask questions that is probably if the coach give a detailed answer when it comes to tactics, and also the preparation of the game and how we have seen the game. But if you can look since this is in Khalid and look at the press conferences now, that's why we told us sometimes we review to press conference.
Yeah.
Like it's just important because what type of questions are there by a professional journalist who can ask those things? And sometimes we want to go to TV and address, release a made statement, that's it. Because they don't no questions as was a good way. Abalulekile azoyenza ukuthi nawe ustruggle uziseshe nawe to find yourself with already vela ngifuna uku-implementa ini la with this team. This is what I want and this is what I want to achieve at the end of the day. Most of the European coaches, when they come here, they come to work. They are not here to nurse some feelings wabantu. You look at the previous coaches who came here, Abu Paul Doleza, even Pet Dimitri, even Abu Palacios. Most of the coaches that they come here, Angel Kappa, go Sundowns, and where's that one who didn't take any nonsense? Isn't Henry Michel or what? Somewhere like that. Michel,
yeah, something like
Henry
that.
Michel was, he was not even speaking English, was speaking French. Those guys, they come to work and they expect it when they get here, they hit the ground running. They don't have time to nurse some feelings about. So the sooner with that, guys, the PSL side, we realize that the better with this is work. We take it seriously, hit the ground running. Journalists, please bring quality questions for when you got into it. Let's like TikTok, Naguma, Facebook, Nana Nezate supporters. We are allowed to call it normal ban whatsoever. We are allowed,
whatever,
but not you. Yes. Tina, we are allowed, but not journalists. Imagine they could ask a man looking for about Motu and call you a plump. Like really. Aye.
No, thank you, really.
Okay.
No, I just think it's one of those things, guys. I want local coaches to succeed, but it goes back to that thing I've always said on this platform. I think you have to be a better manager than you are a coach. I think our coaches are very good at coaching, but there's certain teams in the PSL where you'll be allowed to experiment, you'll be allowed to find yourself, you'll be allowed to coach. But at other teams, at the other winning end, you have to get results, I remember an interview where they spoke with Kevin Hunt. Kevin Hunt was like, guys, I would love to play beautiful football. I would love to put the ball on the ground and do all these things. But I understand my players, I understand my level, and I understand what I'm meant to do, right? So if I want the result, I have to play a certain way. That's why Kevin Hunt has been what Kevin Hunt is. And that's why as fans, a lot of the time, we don't rate him because he doesn't play beautiful football, right? But he understands what he needs to do to win. So our guys, in as much as it is an advantage to know the guys and to know the situations, right? A lot of the time, they let that color the decisions that they make, right? And they let things fans say and things, how they are protected and all of that stuff, they can hide behind it. But that's why he was not ready to coach Kaizer Chiefs. He was not ready. Whether fans wanted it, whether we didn't want it, he was not ready. Because like I said, at that level, coaching is the last of your problems. You have to deal with fans, media, Mtaungs, this, that, managers. There's a reason why Pitso was incredible when he went to Sundowns. It's because he paid his dues at SuperSport. Then he went to Bafana Bafana. Bafana Bafana is a management job. You don't have the players for every day. You have to oversee all these things. So the moment he landed at Sundowns, and Kutso was actually right, he took over half of the season, half of the first season, saving them from relegation, taking them to 9th. Then the next season, he won the league. He's a manager. He understands how to run teams of people. There's a reason why when you go to Sundowns, you look at Rulani, you look at all these guys, they have teams under them, and the first thing you have to do is to be a manager. You get what I mean? That's what you're meant to do. So I feel our local coaches miss that. And our local coaches, as Uberila said now, they don't take it as seriously, or quote unquote, don't take it as seriously. Those guys are here to do a job. When I jump in here, right, when I get into this job, I sign with Pirates. My job is to win. It's not to develop players. It's not to coddle fans. It's not to do all that stuff. It's for me to come in, do my job. And a lot of the time, because these European coaches don't have any connection to South African football, when they get here, guys, it's job yenziwa. There's no excuses. There's no nothing. They get here, they do the job. Because why? When I don't have a job here and I'm fired, I'm going back to Serbia. They sit down, they do all that stuff. We spoke about it 10-10s. It's part of the reason we had the conversation about 10-10s as a coach and him becoming a manager and why he hasn't become a manager. Why he's still Kobo Moroka. Why he's still at certain places. Why they are comfortable to stay here. And if you look at the history of the PSL in the PSL era, guys, if you're not Gordon Iggesund, if you're not Gavin Hunt, if you're not Pitso Mosimane, there hasn't been many local coaches that have been successful. Pitso, you can say Mangoba, I count them as Sundowns, but Oksalayo, there haven't been many local coaches that have been that successful within the league context. So all of the advantages he's talking about mean nothing.